she's looking at them. She says, "Oh, well, these are fun. Um, yeah, I like these. Okay, so I need 48 more. Can you get those to me? I need them." All right, everybody. Welcome to the Green Room here at Regal City Media Podcast. David, how's it going today?
It's going great. How you doing?
Mighty fine, buddy Ro. It's a sunny day.
It is. That's where the master artist comes in, or the master creator is knowing when to stop adding lines or when to stop adding colors. I'm amazed at what some artists can say with as few lines.
Oh.
As opposed to those who can, man, I can look at a painting or a drawing that has a lot of lines in it, but it still has a simplistic look to it, even though that there's a lot of complex lines in there.
The other thing here, too, we're talking about these guys that are doing these comic books, they don't have all day to do this.
No.
And what I
they don't have time to even experiment.
I had to deal with doing the Dalmatian Press publications were deadlines. For the first time in my life, I was on a deadline, and I had to learn to work within it.
Yeah,
and that adds another element to what your ability is, and when is enough.
Right. Well, that's kind of,
you can't sit there and pad on it forever. No. You've got to release it, let it go, and move to the next thing as a commercial illustrator.
Yeah, that's what I learned with going into advertising. Everything's on a deadline because the advertiser's not going to pay. But the first place that I learned about deadlines was the job I had with Bering Sea Originals.
These were scenes from Alaskan wildlife and Alaskan nativehood and
Bering Sea Originals would make these plates and cups and stuff for Alaskan tourists. So if you go to the airport, you'd see a Bering Sea, and they're still around, by the way. I don't know if they do it the same way that we were doing it then, but yeah, it's just you sit down. And I would get a plate, draw something on the plate, and then get 25 cents for that big plate. Okay. So I would draw it and ink it because everything was black and white. Mm-hmm. So that meant, there's your simplicity, right down to just the line drawing. Yeah. So you can imagine how many plates I would have to make just to get minimum wage per hour. It was a lot, but it taught me how to then to kind of section out or time box your work so that, you know how long it would take to do something. And, I would go home and I'd be going through magazines trying to come up with other ideas. That was the hardest part. Each one had to be a different drawing and I had to create my own drawing. It wasn't they didn't tell me what to draw. I had to come up with it. And, so it taught me a lot. And these ladies had been doing it, man, they're just sitting there and boy, done. So they were teaching me a lot about doing the inking with a brush, because it wasn't a quill pen, it was a brush, and I had to hold the thing in my hand. You talk about then trying to be steady and everything and get that line just right and minimize the number of lines because you don't have a big canvas there. It's only maybe 4x4 area that you're drawing in, and so you have to get a lot in there.
But I remember towards a few of the final assignments I did for Dalmatian Press prior to them being sold. There was a real tight deadline, and I think it was they wanted like 25 Halloween illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down to I had some recording sessions booked. I had I was working, sometimes I would work through the night to complete these deadlines. And I had most of my illustrations already penciled. I would pencil as much as I could and then go back and ink. So there was a point there where I was just running behind, and I knew that I could miss this deadline. And I got a hold of you, and you had just started doing a lot of this digital illustration, and you had some early software. And you said, "Well, hey, send me some of these, and let me ink them. Let me show you what I can do with this program I'm working on." So I sent it to you. I showed you some samples of the style of inking I was doing and the simplicity of it. And you sent me back some stuff, and I went, "Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that looks like you ink that on a light table." You started sending me these inked versions of my drawings, and they looked phenomenal with this clean new technology that you were using to ink them. And the success of that was learning to do it simpler. And we made the deadline.